Ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, I am excited beyond words to be joined by Teofimo Lopez Sr., the famed father and trainer of one of the best young upcoming fighters in the world champion Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo, thank you so much for joining us on this interview, sir.
Yeah, no problem. You know, like always, we're here to keep everybody informed of what's going on. My son is looking incredible right now. We had a good sparring session today with two good fighters, Joshua Vargas and Matthew Gonzalez. So we had some good work. Now we're gonna bring the little guys like Lomachenko in, so we can work on speed and reaction time, and just work a lot on speed, to get to that other level that we need to get into.
Absolutely, Teofimo. This is the fight that the boxing world is talking about right now. I mean, for me, this is the biggest fight in boxing right now. How does it feel to be part of something so incredible, especially considering Teofimo's only 23 years of age?
Well, actually, I started knowing about this from the very early age in his career. He was just doing amazing things and beating everybody in the amateurs. So, the development that he has fulfilled until right now is just amazing. And we're ready, we're in a good position right now to take over any man in the world. And that is what we're going to do October 17th.
Teofimo, when you talk about this fight, and you told me this earlier today, you come across as a man with so much conviction, a man that's so confident in his son and in his fighter. You told me this is going to be an easy fight, and we're talking about a guy who a lot of people think is #1 pound for pound. What makes you so confident beyond belief?
Okay, first of all, they got this guy like the greatest defense on the planet. They got this guy like the greatest guy that has the best footwork in the planet. And I don't believe in that. I'm not sold on that. I'm not sold on that at all. I believe that my son is the best fighter in the world. And I'm not saying that he's a slugger or nothing like that. He's a good boxer. He's a great boxer. I think he's better than Lomachenko a million times. And everybody's going to see what we're going to do to this guy October 17th. My son is a good boxer before. All his amateur fights were him boxing.
Right.
The only reason why I started implementing a different thing on him by, doing a lot of studies with the heavyweights was that, my son needed that pop. So this, BS that's been happening to us since the amateurs will stop. And that's exactly what I did. I implemented on him strength, power. He always had it. I just had to bring it out on him. And, this kid is a really talented, gifted kid. I don't take nothing away from my son. He's the best in the world. And, I give him all the credit for who he is right now.
Yeah.
God just motivated me to help him and guide him in the right way, and bring those talents that he has already out from him,
Teofimo, a lot of people have said that, man, it's early. He's only 23 years old. Lomachenko is like 10 years older than him. What do you say to people that say stuff like that?
Listen, Lomachenko's been in the amateurs too long. He was in the amateurs too long. 400 fights. To me, that's a career right there. Hang up the gloves, go home, go to sleep, do something else. Use that money that you eventually made from the amateurs, because this guy was supposed to be like the god of the amateurs. So I believe he made a lot of money with AIBA.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened there, but if I was this guy, I would just hang up my glove. He had his reign, and come October 17, man, this guy's going to look like any ordinary man in the planet. And I'm going to make sure about that,
Teofimo, if your son goes in there and beats Lomachenko, I think there's no doubt that he becomes part of the #1 pound-for-pound consensus conversation. What do you think about him potentially being able to achieve that again at just 23 years of age?
Listen, when we won that Comey fight, me and my son looked at each other and said, "Dad, this ain't facing us. You know, we want to go all the way to the top."
Yeah.
I thought winning the Olympic trials in the United States was enough for me. I thought going to the Olympics was enough for me. I thought my son winning a world title was enough for me. At the end of the day, it's never enough. So you know what? That means that God got something prepared for us. That means that we still have to dig like we've been digging since he was 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old. Since that age, I never gave up on my son, and I was there with him 100%. Come October 17th, we keep, you know, I don't know when I'm going to get the satisfaction. I don't know when he's going to get it. But when that day happens, we'll let the world know. But as of right now, we're taking everybody's belts.
Man, Teofimo, those are some powerful words. It sounds to me, though, like you feel like Teofimo is not getting the credit that you think he deserves. What kind of makes you feel that way about the situation?
Listen, it's not about the credit that we're getting or we're not getting. I think Top Rank has done a great job with us, you know. So I'm not taking that away from my son or anybody else. The thing is, we just don't feel satisfied. We feel like we're gonna do something different. We feel like we're gonna do something that the world hasn't never seen before. My son is special, and we're gonna show you come October 17 how special he is when we do what we gotta do to Lomachenko.
Teofimo, he's going in there with a guy in Lomachenko, that's known for his technique, but at the same time, we have seen Lomachenko get dropped in a fight. I particularly remember him being dropped by Jorge Linares, who I don't think hits as hard as Teofimo Lopez. Is that something that you guys are kind of keeping in mind regarding this fight, the incredible explosive power that Teofimo has, which I think is a huge advantage in this fight for him?
Listen, I don't like to take anything away from any fighter, because to me, every fighter that goes into that ring is there, and his life could be taken. So I've done it before, but I give respect to each and every fighter. Now, when it comes to Linares, we over here talking about a real fighter against another guy that everybody thinks he's real, but to me, Linares is not in our level. To me, Linares is a C fighter next to my son.
Yeah.
And I've known this guy always talk and say that Lomachenko was not the same after his fight. Listen to me. My son is going to show the whole world how to beat Lomachenko. All right? So I'm just going to wait until that day comes. But to me, Linares, that right hand shot that he hit him with, to me, was a good shot, but he should have finished it.
Yeah.
That shows me how much of a champion, how much you want this sport. My son is not going to lose that opportunity, ever. We have it, baby. We're going to take it.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest difference between Linares and my son. Once we drop this dude, he's out. And my son is going to make sure of that.
Absolutely, like the way he did against Richard Comey. Speaking of which, Teofimo, your son's fought some tough people before, but do you think that this fight is going to be the hardest fight of Teofimo's career?
Of course not. Like I told everybody, and nobody wants to believe me. The harder the fight is, the easier it's going to be for us, because my son knows how to fight guys that know how to box.
Yeah.
the hardest fighter are people that don't know how to box, and we don't know where they're throwing their punches from. And I mean, this has happened to a lot of big fighters in the past. It happened to Floyd Mayweather when he fought that tricky bum type of style fighter, and he didn't know what to do with him. And the guy had a really bad record. But it comes to is adapting. My son likes to adapt to the fighter right away. And when you adapt to a fighter, you have to have the right movements and the right way of boxing, to figure out what he's going to do next and this and that. When we get somebody that just throws punches from different angles because they have to learn the art of the boxing, we are going to get hit with a couple of shots. So that's why I told everybody, the better my son gets, the better the competition gets, the easier it's going to be for us. And we proved that with Comey.
Yeah. Man, that was an incredible performance against Comey, Teofimo. I'll be honest with you. I thought that fight was going to be a lot harder than it was. Teofimo showed another level in that fight. I wanted to ask you, your son seems to have many special qualities about him. What do you think is the one most special quality about your son that sets him apart from everybody else in the lightweight division?
Okay, first of all, the hunger. He's very hungry. Second of all, we've been through it all. He won Olympic trials. He won Golden Glove Nationals just like Floyd and all the greats. That's one of the toughest competitions to win at. And he beat all the men in the United States at 17. That's a big accomplishment.
Yeah.
Then he came and won the Olympic qualifiers, because back in the days, with the Floyd days and the Sugar Ray Leonards and all those guys, you win Golden Glove Nationals, you go directly, into the Continentals to fight for USA team for the Olympics. So when my son did that, because they changed the rules, now they had no headgear. So when my son did that, we had to go 2 weeks later and fight 5 other men, at the Olympic qualifiers.
Yeah.
And won there again. So he's already winning 10 fights straight, back to back. Then he goes to the Olympic qualifiers and wins best boxer of the tournament. Then he goes to the Olympic trials and beats everybody there. Puts everybody in the losing bracket, because that is the only tournament in USA boxing to qualify to the Olympics that lets you lose one time.
Yeah.
We put everybody in the losing bracket and we beat them again. And that's why I'm so sure of our son. We didn't have to go to Russia, we didn't have to go to England, we didn't have to go to none of these countries. My son took it all the last year. In 2016, and he made it to the Olympics. He was supposed to represent USA.
Yeah.
But that's another story.
He did represent for Honduras in the Olympics. Is that right?
Oh yes, he did. And that was something that I had to do for him, because I told my son, listen, your dream and our dream was to go to the Olympics. We're not gonna be no second hands for no USA boxing team.
Yeah.
You know that you won this, you deserve it. That was the first time it ever happened since 1904. You gotta be kidding me. Like this is like it happened to my son. It just happened to my son. At the weight division. So I was so unbelievable. We couldn't believe it. When Carlos Banderas lost in the Continentals, me and my son was jumping up and down because we knew that we were gonna beat him in the Olympic trials.
Yeah.
I told my son, we got it, baby. We're gonna be with USA, and look what happened. So you know what I did? I love my mother. I love my country from Honduras. I said, you know what? Let's go to Honduras. Screw all these guys. We don't need them.
Yeah.
And they were hesitant. They didn't want to give me his papers, and we had to get Honduras to ask for them. Then they said that my son already had fought with AIBA internationally, and they were gonna suspend him for 2 years. Or 3 years, something like that. So you know what I told them? That was a friendly, bro. We went to Canada, and my son won. My son won best boxer of the night that night. And he won that fight in Canada. We beat the Canada team that they had when we went down there. But it was a friendly. It was a dinner. There was nobody from AIBA there. So, it was a USA boxing tournament. It was a friendly boxing match.
Yeah.
So they tried to put that at me. And I told them, no. So they came back, called me back, and told me, we want Honduras to ask for him. And I said, okay, I can make that happen. Boom, Honduras called him, and everything else was history. We made it to the Olympics. Honduras, first person in the history of Honduras to qualify to the Olympics, winning the Continentals.
That's very cool, Teofimo. I wanted to ask you, what does this mean for Honduras?
But this means a lot for even Central America, because he was the only fighter in the Continentals from Central America.
Yeah.
Nobody else qualified. That's historical.
Yeah.
We beat Mexico and Argentina for the Continental. We beat Argentina and Argentina for the Continental.
Wow.
No, we beat everybody in the Continentals to get to where we at. So if he would have been Team USA, he would have qualified to go to the Olympics for USA.
Yeah.
But then I told my son, God probably wants you to go a different route. He probably wants you to go to my country. Let's do it. Let's follow God's, demise. Like, whatever he wants to do, we got to follow it. He doesn't have to really tell us, but it comes to the point that you got to make the decision. And the decisions led us to the, to go fight for Honduras. And that's where we at right now. And I am so happy because now my son is the first Honduran world champion that ever existed, that ever did anything in that country in sports.
Big shout out to Honduras and big congratulations to you guys for being able to achieve that. Teofimo, before I let you go, I wanted to ask you if it's possible to get a prediction on this fight. I may be going out on a limb here, but I'd love to hear a prediction from you if that's possible.
Listen, if my son adapts to this guy, and I know he is, my prediction is this fight is not going to go 5 rounds.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, Teofimo Lopez Sr.
I've said this a million times before, and it always comes true.
You have. That's why I'm not even going to try, to doubt you for 1 second, Mr. Lopez. Not at all, brother.
I tell everybody, put your money on Teofimo Lopez. Everybody's going to be rich.
I love it. Anything you want to say to the public before I let you go, Teofimo?
No, quiero mandar un saludo grande a toda la gente latina que nos soporta y que nos están dando todas estas bendiciones que las estamos recibiendo con todo el amor y con todo el orgullo latino, porque somos latinos, al final del cabo somos todos latinos. Y yo le voy a decir algo a la gente latina. Octubre 17 vamos a tener al primer campeón latino unificado del mundo en las 135 libras. No se la pierdan.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Teofimo Lopez Sr., thank you so much for your time, sir. Much appreciated.
You have a good night, and thanks for the chat.
My pleasure. Thank you.
It's the takeover. We're taking over everything, baby.
I love it.